Hey guys. Hi. So today I met White Money. Let me explain how. So first of all, let me give you guys a backstory, guys. At about 7 p.m. Nigerian time, just a few hours ago, my husband just said, "Babe, she dressed up. Let's go out." And see, I know what he means when he says that. So I didn't even ask where and all that. So we went out. We tried to use a couple of ATMs to withdraw cash. So I knew that it was going to be a fun time. Anyway, we couldn't get any. All the ATMs we had jacked up. I don't know what was happening with them. They weren't working. So we decided to just. He now drove to a popular um, food chain that we normally would go, right? And then before we got to the food chain, while we were even driving and looking for ATM, we tried about two ATM that weren't working. We just noticed that the cars were really minimal. People on the road were really minimal on a Sunday evening. So it was kind of just not real. Like it was just funny. Like why are people not around? Why are people? So we started even attributing it to how tough Nigeria had become. Maybe people are no longer sitting out. We even talked about the business of joints and drinks and stuff. They might really have a downtime if people are going to prefer to just eat out, or rather eat within their house than eat out and all that. We just kept driving. I even did this video then because I was like, let me try and do a vlog, but I gave up the idea, soon too, because I was like, the town is kind of boring and dark. You know, Now I'm regretting why I didn't take it. I didn't do a shot in the fast food itself. Anyway, so when we now drove to the fast food, as I was looking into the fast food, with the transparent glass, I saw that the counter also was scanty, and I was like, oh my god, even here it's scanty. What's happening in New York and all that? Just before we were about to walk in, other people were coming behind us, and soon after, the whole place was full. Like people were, making their orders, taking their food, going to sit down. Then I noticed a crowd of people, about four people standing before the LED, TV that was there, and I was like, "Oh, what's happening?" Oh, I now looked and was like, "Oh God, wow! Today is the finale of Big Brother NAIJA." Shine your eye, and I was like, "Oh my God!" So I just started watching it when my husband was trying to sort out the bill and the orders and stuff. Soon enough, when the order came, we went upstairs to have a very is to have a sitting where we can have a very good view and a television to ourselves, because there are lots of screens there. And then he saw my body language. I just understood that I really wanted to see. So we started discussing the show. Of course, Ebuka and his change of clothes, Tokema Kenwa doing her thing and all that. So we saw these five people who were in the house. First person was called out, second person, third person. But somebody was very remarkable. This guy who won White Money. I'm like, okay, I've seen this guy's face all over the internet. People are talking about him. I've not really taken time to read stuff about him or to watch, people's commentary, but I knew he was one of the contenders. But even though, because I haven't really watched Big Brother, today was the first time I was actually even seeing it on the screen, and it happened to a finale. So maybe I am lucky. I got lucky, kind of, and that's not because of any bias, just because in my home we don't have a TV right now. We didn't want to do it because of the children and them, other things to do. We do more of internet TV, kind of watch things we want to watch on the internet and stuff. So when the Big Brother came, and I was like, I wasn't even really excited per se. I know I watched a few years after, I think 1 or 2 years. Okay, but by the way, so well, we started watching it. The first person, second person, third person, we all went down, and they were all guys. There was only one lady there. I didn't know her name, and the discussion went on. It became really interesting because I'm like, there's this guy who is not, who didn't look, he didn't look better at all. He wasn't looking like, I was jittery about, what if they call me and I leave. He seemed to have this calm and this control, this whole, I got this position that I really loved. And I remember I used to see his face all over internet. I was like, oh, this is a White Money. Oh, interesting. I still didn't know the lady's name. When it was just the two of them, I know that the three people who left, one of them was Cross, one of them was Angel, if I'm correct, and one was Perry, I don't know. Okay. So, I was like, okay, the best part for me is looking back at their life, all of the things they did in the house. Of course, Big Brother Niger tasks are like the best thing ever. And I looked at all the brands who were part of this show, and I'm like, my God, look at that. Innocent is there, Close Up is there, um, I mean, there are many. Wow is there, Piggy Vest, Abeg, Patricia, um, okay, I mean, just a lot of Munchit. There's such a lot that I was like, oh my god, look at that. These guys really had fun, okay? But what stood out for me, even up to when they they called the winner, was the confidence that White Money showed. I don't know his real name, but White Money for sure, his entertainment name. And I'm like, first of all, he three things stood out for me. First of all, he was properly branded, and I confirmed it when they played back his live at his activities in the house. Most of the time, he usually wore that Igbo Nigerian Ishago kind of clothing in different colors, and I'm like, okay, that's a thing. Now look at him holding the chieftaincy fan. His regalia was just totally royal in an Igbo way, and I'm like, okay, maybe he's an Igbo guy. Then soon after, somebody was sitting beside us, a lady who looked like all these mommy Geo people, Jin Jin people. Now, so that's they asking us, oh, please, who is your favorite? Just before they call the winners, who are you, siding? So me and my husband now laughed at them like, we just got to meet them. Like maybe we should take a side now, but we don't know. She was like, oh, really? You've not been watching? We'll say yes. But anyway, we're like, me, I was like, I think I like this guy who is very confident. He just, even the way he struck a pose, like, I got this. The woman was like, I was angry. No, I don't want the guy to win. Blah blah blah. He's too full of himself. Well, the lady was there. I like ladies to win as well, but I mean, I didn't watch. I mean, I knew that it was already decided, so what's my big deal, okay? And I knew that fans are the one that determine these things. Anyway, two other guys were sitting in front of us, the table before us, and they were still discussing it. And it was really fun for me, even though it was more of a virtual audience, just a few people in the live show. There were performances as usual, and all the whole advert. And then this guy, White Money, will finally mention as the winner. Three things I said stood out for me. One is that this guy was properly branded, his outfits, his looks, and I got to know that he's also a very good cook and all of that. And I'm like, okay, well, that works for me, right? Number two, this guy was in a situation where he wasn't in control of what was going to happen. Even though, yes, I'm sure he felt like he played his game well, he's done his best, but then he carried that confidence as well. He was not picked up. Like I felt like even if he wasn't announced the winner and the girl won, he was still going to have that poise. He was still going to have all the attraction he had. He's still going to have a lot of brands sign him up and all of those. And it taught me something about about sticking it when it comes to my value system and what it is that I wanted. I need to carry on with this life because we all don't know what's going to happen in the next minute. I'm going to carry on with this life at my terms and totally feel in control, especially when you have God. So why not? Okay. The third thing that jumped out at me was man, man, the publicity that this guy had. It seems as if not that I know that Big Brother people, people in Big Brother don't have interaction with the outside world, they don't have phones and all of that. This guy carried on like he knew his fan base, he knew what was in their heart, he knows what to do, and that was very admirable to watch because looking at it, you're wondering how did he get to this level? Was it his game plan? How did he execute it to the T, to the finals? And it's very admirable for me, and that gives me a lot of lessons because it means that whoever you are, it taught me that whoever I am or whatever I stood for, there are millions of other people who are rooting for me. I might not know them until I step on the stage. That is until I take up a platform, until I become out there, until I begin to share my opinion. For instance, I might never know them, okay, and that it was very instrumental that I am confident about that thing that I believed in. These are the three things that White Money's winning taught me, and I'm really excited, guys. Like you guys that watch, if you watch, let me know if what I said was tally with who he really is. I'm looking forward to maybe reading up a little bit about him and all of the other winners. Of course, for me, everybody who was in the finals was a winner for me. Okay, because I know it's such a big deal for them, and yeah, I totally wish them the best. So these are the three things I learned from White Money's confidence, right? Just catching that glimpse was everything for me. For me, I think I watched the show at the end of the day. So for me to catch the finale just in 1 hour, 20 minutes or so, for me, it wrapped it up. So all of the 60 or so, how many days on? Is it 90 days? that they stayed and that I didn't participate didn't really pain me because somehow I felt like I was part of the show by just watching this. So let me know what you think. Did you always side White Money? Are you excited that he won? If not, who was your own winner? And all of those things. How do you guys do this thing? I know their fans are gonna come up with stuff and all that. I'm from fingers crossed. I'm going to keep watching to know what happens. But in all, entertainment is really fun. At the end of the day, it helps us to keep away from it moves our mind away from the everyday challenges of life, if you ask me. So why not? And that's what I'm doing right here on YouTube as well, to make sure that you have fun and you're happy. Make sure you smile, make sure you do what makes you happy. Okay, good night. Good night.